Fire Radio, and you're listening to the African Diary Show with Cathy. Massive. Stay tuned. Greetings and salutations, Massive. Here's Andrew Robinson, all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into the Black Hot Fire Radio, and you're listening to the African Diary Show with Cathy. That's it. Stay
tuned. Baby, you should know that I'm yours. Like if it can't wish you, then I would rather rain. So hata wakihepa kweli, they should know that you're mine, that you're mine, that you're mine. And I ain't never letting you go. Oh, baby, you should know that you're my life. Like if it can't wish you, then I'll be by your side. So hata wakihepa kweli, they should know you're my wife. That you're mine, that you're mine, and I ain't never letting you go. You baby, you got me up in my mind. And I don't wanna say, but I would've died if you left me aside. So let it be the same, let it be me and you in this game. You baby, you got me up in my mind. It's a kupenda wewe. Everywhere, I take it as she down, where. Nitakupenda wewe, nitakupenda in every single way. I take it as she down, I take it as she down.
Yes, karibuni sana to the African Diary Show. My name is Katie. In case you're just joining us, for the first time, consider following the host. Yes, this is the Black Hot Fire Network, media of the 21st century.
Baby, you should know that you make me shine. In many little ways, you make me smile. Now they figure me so bad, don't talk one away. And for better and for worse, I will always be yours. You baby, you got me up in my mind. And I don't wanna say, but I would've died if you left me aside. So let it be the same, let it be me and you in this game. You baby, you got me up in my mind. Nitakupenda wewe, in everywhere, I take it as she down.
Greetings and salutations, Master Dear Andrew Robinson, all the way in Switzerland. And you're tuning into the Black Hot Fire Radio. And you're listening to the African Diary Show with Cathy.
Good people. Karibuni sana to another episode of the African Diary Show. I hope you're well on this wonderful Thursday afternoon on my end. It is exactly 4 minutes to 3 p.m. right here in Nairobi. You can as well let me know what is the time on your end as we get started with our conversation right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. And of course, this is the African Diary Show. My name is Katie, in case you're just joining us. And on today's episode, we shall be discussing about different matters. And one of the biggest matters we need to discuss is that Kenyan government has become a bully to other African countries. And I'm not loving this because our president is busy outside beefing with so many African countries. And it is not lovely because we as the citizens of Kenya are the ones now suffering the consequences of what our president is doing. So we shall get to see that. We shall get to talk about what is happening with the Kenyan president. Why is he bullying other African countries? And why are we seeing now that we have so many African countries against Kenya, or why is the president of Kenya against so many African countries? Karibuni sana, and also our main focus of the day will be going to Zimbabwe. Remember, Zimbabwe, today they are on day 2 of their election, and it was extended after now we had the opposition coming and saying that we had delays and that there was not enough time for us to cast our vote. So today they are on their day 2 activities or casting their votes. So we shall see what is happening with the Zimbabwe and what's up with the Zimbabweans. But Karibuni Sada, I see DJ Shanik in the building. Alpha, I see you in the building. Alpha 257. Creative in the building, Karibu Sana. Don Papo, I see you. I see Alpha is saying hi to you too. Jose is saying hi to you too. Jose, and to everybody who's just joining us. Please make sure you follow the host as you join us and also get to interact with me. Do let me know where are you listening to me from and also how are you doing this Thursday afternoon on my end. I don't know what is the time on your end, but you can let me know what is the time on your end in case you're not in the 254. Shout out to Stewart. I see you in the building. Karibu Sana Stewart. And to all those who are with me on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, and on the radio station. Karibuni Sana. Once again, this is the African Diary Show. And of course, this is the Black Hot Fire Network. And in case you're wondering what we're talking about, and on the African Diary Show is where we get to talk about everything concerning the African people, everything concerning the beautiful continent of Africa, what is happening in Africa, the day-to-day life activities of the African people, and what's up with the African people, what's up with the Black people all over the globe. But I see Alpha is saying, I'm from Burundi. Karibu Sana. What is the time in Burundi? Kindly let me know. I see Mbure in the building. Karibu Sana. Wax Scandal. Alpha, I see in the building. Bure Malimu, thank you very much for tapping the screen. And also to everybody who is there just joining us. Please make sure you follow the host as we get started with our conversation of the day. And remember, I told you, our president, by the way, President William Ruto of Kenya, he is outside more than the civilians. He is beefing with every African country. I don't know what is wrong with the Ruto, but he is very outside. But as Kenyans, we are the ones suffering the consequences of bullying of our government. The government, Kenyan government, has become a bully. It is bullying people everywhere in Africa. But we are going to discuss that as we continue with our show for today. And also, tell me, have you suffered the consequences of a government creating enemies out here? You remember there was this issue, or there was this drama that happened some time back. It is not actually a month ago. It is a few weeks back, where we had the M-Pesa being frozen, our e-citizen portals are having being hacked, and even so many things were happening, and it was just crazy. But that was a result of something Ruto did. So we shall get to talk about that, and also as we continue, I told you we're going to talk about Zimbabwe and what is happening in Zimbabwe. I see Alpha is saying now it is 2 p.m. Okay, so it is an hour difference because right here it is 3 p.m. exactly 3 p.m. right here in Nairobi. So we have an hour difference from with the Burundi, and that's great. I learned something new. Thank you very much, Alpha, and to everybody who is just there. We started off our show with an amazing jam. That was Evia, and the jam is Nita Kupenda. I hope you did get to jam and to eat. We're going back to one more jam, and then we will be back with our quote of the day. In case you have a quote of the day you'd love to share with us, please make sure you keep it coming as we get started with our conversation of the day. And it is all about African people. It is all about beautiful African continent, but things coming from Africa, are they lovely? Are they beautiful like our people? I don't think so. But anyway, let's get into one more jam. This is Botrosa, Misbehavior featuring Savara. I hope, and furthermore, I hope you get to jam and to eat, and also come back with a quote of the day as well.
Yeah, wow. Now listening to the sounds of the okay, hey, closer, no distance. You like me, you're Mister. Wine, calypso, me like it. Suddenly, bam 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 bam. Like a shot, misbehave, never cause I'm drunk. Yeah, me remember, lakini yani dan 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 dan. Yeah, like a shot, misbehave, never cause I'm drunk. Yeah, hey, I told my wife what your name is behave. Vile yo makalina ni instigate. Ona day bank na Mississippi K. I broke your heart and I do it again. So I went on a date with this big mama. All this pressure I had to discover, but when I got there, I drew a home mother. Is he being jealous on my big stomach?
My quote of the day says, "It is never too late to be what you might have been. It is never too late to be what you might have been." Shout out to Kim Jim, I see you.
Kauzimia kwa club ni mjinga, ashaiyo shati viredio na kufa. Jamani wale mina mchuja, nishaipata kwa rodi nikamkuta, nikampeleka kijani nikaisunda, nikampolea bakora kimchuda, ni makelele kelele na mkuta. Ni bam 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 bam.
Greetings and salutations, Matthew and Robinson, all the way in Switzerland, and you're tuning into the Black Hot Fire Radio, and you're listening to the African Diary Show with Kati.
Yes,
That's
welcome
it.
back to the African Diary Show. I hope you did get to jam onto that amazing banger over there, done by Boutros featuring Savara and furthermore on that great hit. But as we get started with our conversation of the day, I told you we shall be discussing different matters, and one of the things is that now the Wagner leader, the Wagner you know the Wagner Group. We all know the Wagner Group. In case you don't know the Wagner Group, it is a mercenary group that operates. Currently, it is operating all over. We can't say that it is situated in this country, but yes, it is actually a mercenary group from Russia. But now we have the leader dying after few days. He came out and said that yes, I'm in this country and we are supporting this country, but right now he has been confirmed dead after what they are saying it is an air crash. But do you think so? Do you think it was a crash? Or yes, it is a crash, it was a crash, but do you think that this crash was just an accident? I don't believe so. I I don't want to believe so. And I hope you all don't want to believe so. But what is happening is that we have lost, or rather, the leader of the Wagner group is dead, is confirmed dead, and they are saying, or what rumors has it, it was a crash. He crashed in his plane and he lost his life on the spot. But let me go through the Yes, I see. Charlie is saying, are we talking about the Wagner boss? Yes, we're talking about the Wagner boss, not the real boss, because this is, one of the things we all need to understand as African people. The Wagner group is a mercenary group that operates in so many African countries. But who is their real boss? We're talking about now their leader. We're not talking about, it is, yes, we can say this is their boss, but this is not the real boss. Remember, the Wagner group, it was a mercenary group that was created. It was created in Russia. Yes. So in Russia, this is where the Wagner group originates. But Russia distanced itself from the Wagner group. They said the Wagner group is a private mercenary-owned company. It is not the Russian government that funds the Wagner group. So I think and I believe that, yes, the Wagner group is not a private mercenary group, but the Russian government would not come and tell us, that, yes, we are the owner. We are the ones who control or who fund the Wagner group. So that is what is happening. But I see Charlie is saying he was a dead man walking since the failed mutiny. Okay. I didn't know more about that. Educate me, Tafadhali. I see Move Me, Movers and Storage followed the host. Thank you very much. And thank you for tapping the screen. Charlie, please make sure you keep on telling me more about the Wagner group and also the boss. So what I'm talking about is the Russia-Ukraine war live and the Wagner group chief. Yes, I'm talking about the Wagner group chief. He's called Prigozhin. Yes, Prigozhin is reported dead in a jet crash. And Prigozhin, head of the Russian mercenary force Wagner, is listed among the 10 passengers reportedly killed when a private jet crashed north of Moscow. Authorities are investigating the cause, and there are no confirmations that Prigozhin's body has been found. President Zelensky marks Ukraine's Independence Day by calling it the day of the free and strong and dignified and the day of equals. And yes, what are Russians saying about Prigozhin's possible death? Or you guys, what are you speculating about Prigozhin's possible death? We're talking about the Russia's Wagner chief. Yes. The Russian Wagner chief. The Wagner group chief. Okay, that is what we're talking about. Wednesday's announcement by Russia's Ministry of Emergency Situations that private plane traveling between Moscow and St. Petersburg had crashed has raised a suspicion that the Wagner head and his collaborators could have been intentionally killed. And this is also what I'm speculating. Remember, Russia right now has so many enemies. The last time we saw the Russians, Wagner chief, the man we're talking about, Prigozhin, the last time we saw him, he was in Africa. Was he in Mali? No, he was not in Mali. He was somewhere in Africa. And he shot a video and said that, yes, I'm in Africa and we're promoting this and this and this. And maybe they had collaborators, they had enemies. Remember right now, Russia, it's like they look like they have a beef with the US. Yes, because of their activities in Africa. Remember, we have so many people looking forward, or rather looking for influence in Africa. So yes, this is what I'm saying. They might have been intentionally killed, or maybe it is just an accident. But let's not say it is an accident, because remember, their planes are always speculated. They are always checked before they fly. So tell me, how does a plane crash just like that? This plane was checked. This plane has to be checked. Not Yani just checked. It has to be checked by people, by professionals. So you can tell me that it was just an accident. Yes, they might be intentionally killed, and this is what I'm trying to get. This is what I'm getting from all this information. But while the Kremlin is yet to confirm the details of Wednesday's plane crash in the country, how are Russians reacting to the news? How are the Russians reacting to the news? And Zelensky says Ukraine not involved in the Prigozhin's reported death, and Ukraine's president Zelensky says Kiev was not involved in the reported death of the Russian mercenary chief Prigozhin, according to a report by the Interfax Ukraine news agency. We had nothing to do with it. Everybody realizes who has something to do with it, Zelensky said. And Norway to donate jets to Ukraine. And it is just crazy with what is happening, because at the end of the day, we know this is not a natural death. We cannot say this was a natural death. It was not a natural accident. It might be an accident, but not a natural accident, because we know these people already have enemies. The Russians right now, they have occupied the most part in Africa. Let's talk about the Russians helping Niger. Yes. We saw right now after the Nigerians, I'm talking about Niger, that the people of Niger are called Nigerians. So the Nigerians were even protesting and very happy, raising the Russians flags after they kicked the French out of their country. So yes, Russians have so many enemies, especially right if their activities are continuing right here in Africa. And the same thing, what is happening in Niger, the same thing happened in Mali some time back. You remember the Malians coming and telling the French to kick rocks and get out of their country? After that, who did they welcome? It was the Russians. Right now, who are the Malians working with? In their country, it is the Wagner Group. So what I'm trying to say is that the Wagner Group right now has a lot of enemies. It has a lot of enemies. And provided their activities are still continuing in Africa, they have so many enemies. So what I'm trying to say is that this death was not just a natural death. And it came after this man, or rather Prigozhin, said his location. He gave out his location when he was in Africa. It was a few days back. He was in Africa and he gave out his location. But what happened? Now he's confirmed dead. So we cannot say that this was a mature death. Of course, it is a premature death, and also it is not a natural accident. This is not a natural accident. But people, let me know what you think about this, because I think we all know, we all have our different views. Just let me know what you think about this, because I really want to know you guys. What do you think about this? Do you think that this was a natural death? Do you think that this was a natural jet crash? Of course, it wasn't. But you guys, let me know what you think about this as we continue. And also, as I go through the comments, I see Charlie in the building. Karibu sana, Charlie. You're saying he was a dead man walking since the failed mutiny. And also, I see Move Me Movers is saying no Russian elite will ever stand before Putin. Okay. Also, I see Charlie is saying Prigozhin had led a rebellion on June 23rd against Russia's Ministry of Defense, but he failed. They failed. Where did this happen? I don't think so, because for the longest time, or for the time I have known Prigozhin, I think his activities right now, they are more dwelling in Africa. These people are more right now, they are more operating in Africa. Talk about the Wagner Group. Right now, the Wagner Group is the one even training our soldiers, our military. Yes. The Wagner Group is in Mali guarding resources being stolen, and this is why they are in Africa. So I think the problem came up when these people now started gaining influence in Africa, and after that, remember that the reason they want influence in Africa is because of the resources. So the moment they started getting the resources in Africa, and remember, before them, we had another person who was controlling these resources. This is where the problem came in. And also, the French are not happy with the Wagner Group. The French is not happy with the Wagner Group because the Wagner Group is the one being used to chase them away from Africa. Have you forgotten this? Yes, the same thing that is happening in Niger, and the same thing is happening in so many other different African countries. Let's talk about Burkina Faso. Yes, it is happening still in Burkina Faso. Let's talk about Mali. The same thing. So I think that might have been the problem, but the cause of this plane crash, it is not a natural cause. This was not a natural death, and we cannot say that he died in an accident. It might be an accident, but this accident was not a natural accident. But I see Movers is saying that that was the consequences for failing to adhere to Putin instructions. Okay. I see Charlie is saying Putin said after the failed mutiny that he left like his friend Prigozhin stabbed him in the back. Okay. And Charlie is saying it was a revenge hit. I don't know much about that, but now I'm concerned now how this death is connected to what is happening in Africa and the Wagner's group activities in Africa. But I see somebody else. Okay, Charlie is saying okay, they captured military installations in city of Rostov on Don, and we were marching towards Moscow. Okay, where they stood down. I don't know much about that, but what I'm saying is this death might be in we might say that it is connected to their activities in Africa, and somebody is not happy about their activities in Africa, and this is why we are seeing Prigozhin dying. But more from that, I don't know much, and this is why I don't want to dwell on that story. But yes, the Wagner chief is confirmed dead. Yes. He was confirmed dead actually yesterday. So in case you didn't know, now you know. I hope you're updated. And also, I hope you know now what is happening. But as we continue on our show for today, I told you we shall be talking about different things. We shall be talking about so many things. And one, I really want us to know why the Europeans are always interested in Africa. And you know why? Right now, we're talking about the Wagner chief being killed or rather dying in an accident. And why do you think that the Russians are fighting for influence in Africa? We have the Chinese, we have the US, with the UK, these are the British. Why are all they fighting for influence in Africa? You want to know why? Because Africa is rich. Africa has everything these people want. And this is why they all want to be in Africa, and they all want the resources and the minerals we have in Africa. But I have this clip to share with you right here with me. Let me share, and to all those who are with me on TikTok, you can listen to the audio. Yes, let me share this clip real quick as we continue. And also, as you tell me, one of the reasons, tell me one of the biggest reasons you know that the Europeans are always invested and interested with Africa. Let me share this video from Swirin Yarkano. I hope you get to enjoy it. And also, okay. Let me see. Which one it is. Okay, let me share my screen real quick as we continue with our show for today. And also, as you continue telling me, why do you think these people really want to come to Africa, really want everything from Africans? Okay, why do they want to become our friends? That is the question. So here's my video. Hope you get to enjoy it. Keep on commenting, keep on telling me what you think about it, and also keep it interactive with me. My internet.
Do you know the main reason why from our natural resources? Here is the main reason why Africa is currently such a hot friend to have. This is the current growth rate of the world, with Africa's growth rate currently leading at 3.18% and counting. Since the 17th century all the way to the 21st century, through endless wars, slavery, colonization, brainwash, brain drain, and segregation, Europe managed to keep the African population dormant and at par with.
Okay, before we get to continue, I see Charlie is saying I think they wouldn't admit it, but they still rely on Africa's resources. You know, their economies actually. Let me surprise you, Charlie. You know, their economies depend on our resources. Their economies depend on Africa's resources, and this is why Africans are so miseducated, such that we don't know how to control our economies, how to run our economies, and this is why they even take advantage of coming and controlling our economies for us, running the economies for us. Let me tell you one thing. You would go to China right now, a person, or rather a child who is maybe 5 years old, they are learning so many different things that you would not hear in Africa. And why is this? Children in their schools are always even taught how to run economies. These people are being prepared to become leaders, even if they know they won't become presidents and leaders in their countries. And why is this? They are being taught how to control economies, and remember, their economies always rely on Africa. Yes, their economies depends on Africa's resources. Yes, our resources is what makes their economy, and this is why you find that in Africa we don't control our economies. And this is why we're suffering the losses. We have inflation in Africa, and I understand inflation is everywhere else, but it is with a reason. Because one, we don't control our economy. So if they want to even increase the price of commodities, they would do so. And you know, it is just crazy that Africa produces everything, but also Africa buys everything. Doesn't that sound crazy to you? Imagine we produce oil, we produce wheat, we produce everything we need here in Africa, but the same Africa, we buy everything from outside. In Africa is where we have a biggest oil depots, but why do we have to import fuel? Tell me. It is because they control this fuel. They come, they mine it, they refine it, they take it to their countries, and they resell it to us. Remember, they took it here by stealing. They didn't borrow. We didn't give them. They stole it. They stole it. And now, if you see the power, or rather the fight between power and influence in Africa, it is because they are fighting to whom is going to control these resources we have in Africa. Who is going to control these resources we have in Mali? Who is going to control these resources we have in Niger? This is what is happening. The moment you see them fighting over Africa, it is not because they want to be your friends. It is not because they love you. It is because you have resources that is worth their economy, that is worth everything that they need. And why, I keep on asking you as African people, and just because we have so many people on TikTok, I see X Marshall in the building as well. You're saying, obviously, it's not a coincidental death. The next stage in human revolution is in Africa. So everyone wants a peace. Very true. Very true. The next stage in human revolution is in Africa, and it has already kicked off. This is what we're talking about. But now, why are we so poor while the Europeans are so rich, or while we have everything? My TikTok people, this question goes to you, because I believe to everybody who is there with me on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, understands this very well. Why is Africa so poor while we have every resource we need? And why is Africa importing even fuel, importing even wheat, while we have fertile, arable lands? We all know why. Of course, we all know why. And just like Charlie said, they still rely on Africa's resources. You think that they want to admit that? Of course, they wouldn't admit that. They wouldn't say, yes, we rely on their resources, on your resources. They wouldn't say yes. They don't want to say this. They don't want to admit this because, and it is just crazy. It is just crazy seeing that South Africa, South Africa being led by President Ramaphosa, that puppet, is very comfortable to be even in BRICS. You remember when Ramaphosa went to Ukraine to initiate between the war that is happening between Russia and Ukraine. He was told by by Putin's Putin's advisor, I heard you came for food because in Africa you're starving to death. I heard you came to borrow food from us. It is just crazy how these people, they rely on our resources, but still they humiliate you and treat you like nothing, while they know very well we are relying on these people, we are relying on the resources, and their resources is what is making our economies to run and keep going. Yes, our resources, the resources we have right here in Africa, are the ones making sure that their economies are still running. This is what is happening, but they wouldn't admit this. They wouldn't admit this. Shout out to Washuka in the building. I see you in the building. Karibu sana. Moas Topstar Vibes, I see you. Karibu sana. And to everybody who is just there with us, and to everybody who is joining us, please make sure you follow the host as you join us. And yes, get to interact with me. Do let me know what you think about our conversation of the day. But as we continue, there was this video I was sharing, and this is Swiri Nyarukano, and she is talking about she's talking about different matters or different reasons why we have the Europeans befriending Africans and why they are in Africa. So let's continue with our video today, and also keep on interacting with me. Do let me know one of the reasons the Europeans are still in Africa and they want to befriend Africa
with that of their population. Why, you may ask? And the simple answer is people is God. Again, how, you may ask? Wealth is found in numbers, and morality is dictated by numbers. The highest number of people means the highest number of goods consumed, therefore the highest number of market for their goods, hence the highest number of their wealth and currency. When Africans are many and they love themselves, that means they will only buy from their own people, promote their own culture, entertainment, food, and hence grow their own economy and enrich their own continent. But when Africans are many, yet they hate themselves, brainwashed and scattered all over the world, they become consumers of Asian goods, European culture, entertainment, and become the continent that makes other continents wealthy, while itself it remains poor. There is power in numbers. Therefore, the continent with the highest population should automatically rule the whole world when it comes to wealth and morality according to nature. Looking at the current growth population, Africa is rising at a supersonic speed, so much that it
scares them. this scares them very much because they are afraid of Africans waking up and seeing what is happening in Africa. But Laura, karibu sana, I see you in the building. I also see somebody else. Who are you? I see Davis Juma in the building. Karibu sana, Davis, and to everybody who is just joining us. In case you're wondering what we are talking about, we are talking about African people. We're talking about what is happening with the Europeans wanting to be our friends. Suddenly, these people want to become our friends suddenly because we know these people never loved us. Of course, we know this as African people. We have grown knowing that these people love us. But right now, it is quite rather open, and it is just seen that these people never loved us. You remember, there was this time I shared a video, a very humiliating video right here, that the Europeans used to keep Africans in zoos. Imagine, in zoos. Africans were being kept in zoos for other Europeans to come and watch them. Like we were being kept in zoos like monkeys, like gorillas, like animals. And now you want to believe that these people want to create friendship? Don't you think that these people are the same people? Of course they are. They will never change. They will never change. So in case you're just joining us and you're wondering what we're talking about, we're talking about African people. We're talking about the Europeans, the US, the Asia, the UK, every white person, why they want to become friends once again with Africa. Why are they befriending Africa? But remember, they don't want friendship. These people don't want friendship. They're not here because they know we want to become their friends. Of course, there are still African people who are still asleep, who think that these people still love us. But these people, they don't want friendship. They want us for what we have. They want our resources. And I told you, our resources is what they use to run their economies. And with what is happening in Africa, it scares them a lot. Especially the situation in Niger, it is scaring them a lot. If any Mzungu pops up right here on even TikTok, and they find me talking about them and how they are bad people, you will see these people. You will see even the rage in them because they don't want anybody knowing that they hate us. You know, it is just crazy. And there's this boy. He's a young boy. He's a very young boy, and he is in Kenya. I saw him showing on a live stream on TikTok. He was showing where he lives, and he doesn't live in a very good place. If you all know Pipeline, he lives in Pipeline, and he is very glad to have so many Wazungus over there telling him, "Oh, you live like animals. This place is disgusting. Why do you live like that? Why do you have sewer lines on the road?" This guy was so comfortable with having Wazungus asking him such questions. And I was like, man, okay, so you're okay with people telling you live like animals. And you're very comfortable with showing people where you live, knowing that it is not your dream and it is not your will to live there. You're so comfortable with that. I felt so bad to see that now he's so comfortable and he loves it. He actually likes it. He loves to show the Wazungus this. And I was like, these people are not even getting happy with what they are saying. These people are actually laughing at us. Imagine somebody telling you on a live stream, you guys live like animals. Imagine. He just comes here, he pops up here. You're showing where you live, and they tell you live like animals. And I was like, nah. I can't keep quiet. I was just passing, but I can't keep quiet. It's an African person. It's okay. You even look at us like animals, but nigger, man, it's okay. You think that we live like animals? Yes, you're the real animal. Kid, are you asking what happened, Katie? No, I'm giving a story of that African boy who was showing where he lives, and the place was so dirty. And then we had the white people coming and saying on their comment section that you live like animals, you Africans live like animals. And I was so angry, and so like I was so angered by that statement. And I was like, who is the real animal here? And now I relate. They see us as animals. I relate with how these people see us as animals, because you remember the video I shared long time ago where they used to keep us in zoos? Yes, of course, these people see us like animals, but yeah, I'm not an animal. You are the animal. Who has fur on their head? Whose hair is fur? Mine is not fur. Mine is very strong. Whose hair is fur? They are the real animals. Those Neanderthals need to, like, we need to teach them a lesson. How do you tolerate a Mzungu telling you, you look like an animal? Man, black people, we gotta be proud of being black. You know what it means to be being black? You know why these people wants to be our friends in court? Because they never want to be our friends. You know why right now they're fighting for influence in Africa? Because we are worth a lot. They know our worth, but we as African people, we have failed to know our worth. Shout out to Daniel. Shout out to you and to everybody who is just joining us. This is the African Diary Show, and we're talking about African people and the Europeans. Now, how are the Europeans or the white people treat black people? And now they think now black people take it so lightly. And I'm saying this is just crazy, and this madness has to stop. It has to stop. You as an African man, you stand still when Mzungu is mocking you. And this guy was so okay with answering the questions. You know, the saddest part, Kid, is that he answered that question. You guys live like animals. You Africans live like animals. He said, Africa is so poor. You know, Africa is so underdeveloped. This is why we live in such conditions. And I was like, disgusting. This is just crazy. As an African person, you're supposed to be fighting with that Mzungu. And until I came in, that Mzungu disappeared because I told him, who is the real animal? Look at you with the recessive genes. With the recessive genes, and then you're talking about Africans being animals. And he was so angry until he left. I gave him facts because no way, I wouldn't watch a Mzungu humiliating a black person on my watch. Never. Can never happen. But I see a bad panda in the building. Are you saying, what's up, bro? How are you doing? Karibu sana. I also see Kid is saying, exactly, 100%. Katie, who is the real animal? Who is the real animal? Who is the real animal? You call me an animal. Of course you see me as an animal, and I don't care about how you see me. But you better get your facts right. I'm not the animal here. You see me as an animal, but we can prove it. Who is the animal? Who has fur on their head? That is not even hair. Who has fur? And now compare animals and their hair. Animals' skin and their hair. Their hides is the same as their hair. And then they dare call us animals. No, I'm not an animal. You are the animal. But I see Kid, you're saying because they have been taught in school, Katie, to love the Europeans, Katie. Yes, I understand that, but hey, this has to stop. If we're talking about a revolution, we have to understand that these people are not our enemy. People are not our friends, sorry. Yes, they are not our friends. And they need to go. If we're talking about being animals, it's okay. Call me an animal, but I will show you I'm a lioness. Yes, call me an animal, but I will show you I'm a lioness. If it's animals, let me show you I'm an animal. But I see I see Kid, you're saying, because Katie, you know all this. Yes, of course. And I see Nebuchadnezzar in the building. Karibu sana Nebuchadnezzar. Let me finish up with this video. This was Swearing Kano, and we were talking about why these people are befriending us. I mean the Europeans. Why are they befriending Africa right now?
Is bound to surpass Asia in the coming years. But also remember that Africa is a phoenix with her Black people in the Caribbean and all over the world. So come rain, come sunshine, the future is African, and Europe, the Americas, Asia, and Russia knows that.
Exactly. Of course, they know that, and this is why they are so afraid of the revolution that is almost starting right here in Africa, or rather, the revolution that has already started off in Africa. But people, keep on let me know what you think about the matter as we get now closer to winding up. And also, remember, I promised to talk about President Ruto beefing with everybody. Right now, I see he's beefing with the Traore, and I'm wondering what's wrong with the Ruto. Okay, we're gonna suffer the consequences of Ruto going there and yapping nonsense to everybody. We saw what happened after he talked a shit about Sudan. Okay, we saw it was last week Haiti's gang leader giving a warning to Kenya. Right now, it is Traore. President William Ruto is fighting with the Traore. In case you don't know who Traore is the new elected Burkina Faso leader. He is the new leader in Burkina Faso. The leader is very young. He's just 35 or 37. Yes. Right now, Ruto is beefing with him. I don't understand why, but here is my video. Let me share this real quick. I see we only have 10 minutes left, and in those 10 minutes, we have to talk about Zimbabwe. We have to talk about Ruto. Yes, and everything we need to talk about. The most educated, my foot.
What is happening between these two African giants? Many have seen this war, but they haven't taken it serious just because ECOWAS has the final say on what is happening on the West African countries. And if you may allow me say this, ECOWAS commissioner has already given a statement that they are ready to invade Niger any time from now. While on the other hand, a group of locals in Niger's capital, Niamey, have vowed to recruit tens of thousands of volunteers to fight alongside the Nigerian army in defense of their country, against the backdrop of impending Western-backed ECOWAS military intervention. Residents spoke out openly in support of the recruitment, which is already underway, with thousands signing up. Mothers and fathers vow to do whatever they can to support the country's military in what they call the real fight for our freedom. One woman said, "I will pray for our soldiers. I will cook for them. I will give up my children. And if I have to fight, I don't mind. Our country must be free." And this is why I said earlier that the worst kind of war to engage in is one in which the citizens are the army. How do you fight and win this war? If the aim isn't to ignite the entire region and set it on fire, we wouldn't be talking about war here, because I see another Ukraine brewing on the West African coast. But unlike Ukraine, where citizens ram from recruiters and escape the country rather than volunteer to fight, maybe because they know it's a proxy war, the Nigerians aren't running away. They're staying back to fight and defend their country. And they have support not just from Mali and Burkina Faso, but from places many people will not believe until the actual war starts. Trust me, if this war ever happens, it'll be the biggest thing that's ever happened on the continent of Africa, because it holds the key to the liberation of the entire continent. And this is why I think that the African countries on the side of the West must think twice before embarking on this potentially ill-fated voyage. I know what I'm talking about. There isn't going to be another Libya on the continent of Africa. You can take that to the bank and cash it. And if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. Let's leave that aside and let me dive into the topic of today. What is happening between Ibrahim Traore and President William Ruto? It's not a long story. Please let me explain. My name is Ontita Brandon, and welcome back to Teens Republic, the life-to-life educative channel. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel. We promise you will have the best videos for you to Watch and learn. 35-year-old President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso has called for African countries to put their energy on developing themselves. In a report that has been shared by a reliable source of information, it has been reported that young president has stated that as long as there is no development in a country, youths will always leave the country in search of greener pastures. This is happening at the same time when it has been reported that President Traore has stated that any military intervention in Niger by another country is going to be taken as a declaration of war against his country. Several sources have confirmed that the president said this amid claims that France was planning a military intervention in Niger to restore ousted President Mohamed Bazoum back as the president of Niger. Speaking about this, President Traore has stated that any attempt by any country to conduct such an operation is going to be dealt with by his government. They will respond by force. This is happening at the same time when President William Ruto of Kenya has stated that his country, Kenya, is going to support any decision taken by ECOWAS in attempts to restore ousted President Mohamed back to his seat. President William Ruto has also stated that Kenya is against coup in Africa, adding that coups takes countries back to the old days where there was no democracy. Above all, this means that if President William Ruto will dare to touch Niger, he will touch
He dares talk about democracy. What democracy? We as African countries don't know even what democracy is.
Ibrahim Traore. Anyways, I don't know what you think about all this. Give us your thoughts on it.
Yes, that is the beef between the two. And right now, it is like they are involved in a cold war. And remember, Traore said, if any military intervenes in what is happening in Niger, he will declare that as a war against Burkina Faso. And this is what now is causing the tensions between the two. And remember, yes, Traore is so against these people. These leaders, these puppets. And ICK is saying, because the young man has been calling us these puppets, Katie. Yes, of course, this is what he has been doing. Since he got to power, we have been seeing him doing everything to make sure that he calls them out and tells them it is time for a new Africa. We have seen this. But right now, Ruto feels so like, we don't support coups here. I will support what ECOWAS says. And if they tell me to send my military, my army, I will do as they say. And that is what is bringing the Cold War in between the two. But so far, we have seen Ruto beefing with a lot of African countries. And I'm wondering, he's the same man. Huh? He is the same person talking about revolution. He is the same person talking about unity in Africa, while he is busy creating enmity between African countries. We saw him fighting with the Sudan general. We saw him sending army to Haiti. And remember, in Haiti, these are African people. How do you send army to fight your own people? How do you do that? Yet you're calling for unity. What unity? What are you talking about? This has to stop. And now I think we all need coups in Africa. In every African country, I think, coups are not the best way to resolve whatever is happening in our countries. But a person like Ruto, he should be thrown, overthrown. President, that is not a president. A person like a whole white puppet. It's like, how we call them, Oreos. A black on the outside, but a very white in the inside. So westernized person working very well for the Europeans. What the Europeans tells them is very okay to do so. Very quick. My boss says this. I have to do this because my boss says this. It is just crazy. And then it comes with the puppet talk. And then he comes with puppet talk. These are the same people who keeps on talking about how we need to be united. What unity are you bringing? What unity are you bringing to African people? Okay, you have shown us how even you go to disrupt other people's countries, and then you're talking about unity. What unity are you showing us as African people? Yeah? Shout out to Effie. You're saying, hi, everyone. Karibu sana, Effie. Hi to you too, Effie. Yes. This person needs, just like Joby says, bubble gums. He needs some, and he needs to be overthrown and wiped out, because we can deal with such people. We cannot. For a new Africa, we have to wipe these people out. Imagine, we're talking about one Africa. We should be having right now conversations on how to have one common currency as African nations. But your puppet, your president right here, he is busy beefing with your fellow people, the ones you should be having a sit down with and talk about a common currency. Right now, Kenya is the next country to join the BRICS, if you don't know. I see Effie saying most of the problems and poverty is man-made. Of course. Poverty is man-made. They have made us stay in poverty, live in poverty. And they are busy right now telling us, Africa is impoverished. We know that. Of course, we know we are impoverished. But who has kept us in poverty? If you really wanted to help us, you wouldn't be outside beefing and yapping a lot of nonsense. You would be very busy working on how to unite Africans and helping Africans out of poverty. I just get mad with seeing these coons everywhere they go, and they are not even ashamed. Their bosses will humiliate them in front of everybody, laugh at them. You remember, I will never forget that Ramaphosa, when he went to initiate the war between Russia and Ukraine, he was told he went there to borrow food. But right now, he's so okay with the being in the BRICS and also the S being the last in the BRICS. So did the S come first? Why? Because they don't consider you as anything. Why did they have South Africa in the BRICS and put S last? Maybe that's how maybe they just worked the letters and that's how it worked. But I believe if they value South Africa and the South Africans, S will not be the last. S would not be the last. It would not be BRICS. It would be something else. But the S would not be the last.
Well, it wasn't developed by them. It was developed by the same people who created the dollar. Africans, I know you're on TikTok and you don't understand. Well, Caribou Sana, Asante Sana. Because I don't want to be rude and stepping it. So understand, family. You guys are screaming about the BRICS. I've always taught Africans to start researching what the BRICS is. To understand if the BRICS is not a currency. You guys keep saying it's a new currency. It's not a new currency. It's not. Okay? Understand that African people on TikTok. It's not a new currency. What it is a way to trade back and forth between other countries using a different system than the dollar. So using your resources. But this could hurt Africa. See, these despotic, dumbass morons don't understand. If I'm a more developed country and I'm trading back for you and I'm using your resource, I can capture your resource and keep you more impoverished than the dollar can. See, because you got Africans all on TikTok. Yeah, BRICS is great. BRICS is a savior than a dollar. No, morons, they're recapturing your stupid ass. If I'm a developed country, you're less developed. I have industry, you don't. But you have the things I need, which are your resources, right? So to trade with me, I'm gonna trade in finished goods because you're now trading with me, everything backed on your resources. So the few developed goods I give you is pegged to your resources. That means I can get control of your whole country. I'm telling this BRICS thing, as I was sitting there studying the last couple of days, I said this BRICS thing is to capture Africa. That's what it's about. Because Africa has all the resources. Remember, your currency is going to be backed by your resources. Africa, you have no industry. You don't develop shit. So you have no finished product to sell to another country. It's going to be based on your resource, so I can tie. That means I can capture your resources. And I was thinking that, and I came across, the creator always sends me one. I came across the cracker saying the same thing. That this is a new scam to capture the African moron. I said, yeah, because I was looking, yeah, because you got the resources. If everything's gonna be pegged to your resource, you don't make shit. You don't export nothing out of Africa because you don't make shit. So it's not gonna be. So it's gonna be in the industrialized countries like a China or Russia to set up BRICS. This I said these cats with the small hats are brilliant. This is to capture Africa.
They are so smart when it comes to capturing Africa. And this has been their plan. I don't understand how Africans don't understand this. And do you think this is just natural where the dollar is collapsing and then we have a new
exactly.
thing
right on time, Kate. Exactly. Right on time. Isn't it a coincidence while the dollar's collapsing, they got a new mode of trade? Right on time, exactly, Katie. There are no coincidences in the universe, exactly.
People think that it is a coincidence that now when the dollar is collapsing, we have a new currency ready for us, waiting for us.
Exactly.
Trade just because the dollar is collapsing.
As Katie was saying, exactly, as Katie was saying and Joby was saying, you make your own currency like Gaddafi was saying. Why would you go to BRICS? Why would you say, I don't need no currency with these people? Africa, everything. I'm going to make my own currency, my own central bank that we own and control. Because you know why? That's going to make you wealthy, because everybody would have to take your currency because Africa has everything. I'm not joining no fucking BRICS. I'm creating my own currency.
And you know why they want Africa to join BRICS so bad? Because their economy will not run without Africa's resources. So
exactly. Did you guys hear Katie? Katie's 22 and just told you the truth.
Africans are just stupid. We need to wake up. I'm so sad that Ethiopia has joined the BRICS.
Did you hear what Katie just said? She just told you the whole truth. They need you because everything runs off your resources. Exactly. And that's why BRICS is resource backed, because you Africans got all the resources. You will be captured again. You're not getting away from the dollar. You're going into an even more fucked up system. It's even more enslaving. Katie's exactly right. Go ahead.
And you know, these people don't even know that these BRICS might be even backed by the gold we have in Africa. Not even the ones they have already. It is the gold we have in Africa that is yet to be mined by these people. It is being backed by our own resources, and you don't notice it. And you just still asleep, waiting to join the BRICS. This is just insane.
But Katie, there ain't no gold in China. Ain't no gold in Russia. It's all in Africa.
Yes. And maybe this gold is not even already mined. It is the gold that is still in the mines, but they know how to get it. They know how to get it and put it in the cells and make sure that the BRICS is backed by the gold we have in Africa, diamond we have in Africa, and Africa is still rotting in poverty.
Exactly what Katie's saying. That was just, I said, man, this is some ingenious, brilliantly wicked shit. These people are brilliantly wicked. Because they're going to have you happy about your own enslavement. Even worse. Yeah, we're getting away from this wicked dollar. Yay! And you don't know you're going into an even more wicked system. God damn.
And this is why they cannot without Africans because they know what we need and what we have to do to pass these BRICS and the BRICS to start working is all in Africa. And now we have to convince them to join so that we can have what we want for BRICS to start running. And
exactly.
so thinking that this BRICS is coming to rescue us. You think it is a coincidence we have BRICS waiting for us while the dollar is falling? And
what Katie's saying is so true, man. Without Africa, BRICS don't even work. Without Africa, BRICS doesn't work. Africans, I said, you're being enslaved. This is some wickedly brilliant shit. Without Africa, BRICS doesn't exist. It's to get the Africans. You think you're escaping the dollar and colonialism and imperialism? I get it. But you got to know you're not. Man, it is wicked. Wow, it's wicked. Wow.
It's the same cycle that has been continuing. It is just the way they introduced the dollar to us right now. There's something called the BRICS that was set by them to replace the dollar. And remember, this dollar is always, or rather, these economies, they always depend on Africa's resources. Without us, their economies are down. They are down, but you won't believe this, but you won't know this. And this is why our economies, we don't even run our economies. This is why they make sure that our economies are so low, but theirs are always high, to make sure that now they are the richer ones while they are getting resources from us. Their economies are backed by the resources we have right here in Africa. But Africans, since you don't know how to control your resources, to control your economies, we shall come, take your resources, control our economies with them, and you are left in poverty. It is sad.
See, what Katie just gave you, that's why they're educated. What Katie just gave you is a PhD level of information. What she just gave you is PhD level education. Katie, you better start going on these panels. You better start going on these panels on TikTok and educate these people. I'm gonna send you some damn links. You better start going on these panels, Katie, so they can hear what you're saying.
Yeah, and they need to start paying me school fee. But anyway, let's go to the main focus of the day, and this was about Zimbabwe. Right now, they are on day 2 of their election, and this happened that now there was not enough time for them to vote. The opposition came and said that there was not enough time, there were delays, so we need to go to day 2 of election, and this is what is happening. So the voting is still continuing, and voting continued into the early hours of Thursday in Zimbabwe's crucial general election, the second since the exit of long-time ruler Robert Mugabe in 2017 coup. President Emerson Mnangagwa issued a proclamation on Wednesday evening to permit voting to continue into a second day after delays in delivering ballot papers to many polling units. And the saddest part, and why I put this topic of the day is because the most people who came out to vote are the young people. Don't you say that this is very sad? Don't you see that these young people are not
I believe the young people, they know what's going on, Katie. They got to put Mnangagwa back in power because they know the CIA has run throughout goddamn Zimbabwe trying to overturn him and put their main puppet in there. So it's a new puppet in there. You got to go research his opposition. The main other African puppet. Give the white people back the land and end the sanctions. We'll take the land that Mugabe gave back to black people. I'll have the white people take the land back that they stole from us.
But imagine, their votes, even if no matter how many they are, their votes won't count. If the CIA has said this is the president we want, it is the same president they put there.
I hope Mnangagwa, since he is a president there, that he's making sure he's making it corrupt for him. Not let the white people. I wouldn't let. He's got all kind of white people in now, Katie, talking about their advisors. We know those are CIA. Those are advisors, Katie. We're going to be advisors in your election. Those are CIA spies, Katie. Trying to make sure they put their puppet in there. So hopefully he's got control of the election system throughout the country. But if he let them white people in there, they might get their puppet in there. So maybe he knows something wrong. He said, "Oh, hey, we're going to postpone this election because when you get these white advisors, Katie, that's the CIA. Let me get these fake talk. We got advisors. That means CIA." What? Because why don't you ever got no African advisors in Western countries advising their elections, Katie? Why there's no Africans in America or in Canada or Australia or England or France advising their election?
I even also ask myself, the same way we have diplomats from the countries, from the European countries, from the white countries, do we have African diplomats in their countries, in the UK, in the US, in Asia? Do we have?
You do, but they're not. Since you don't have a real spy, yours are real diplomats. Theirs are not. Theirs are all spies. Out to the African youth on TikTok, they know they're diplomats. Since you don't have a Kenyan CIA or a Kenyan MI6, like real.
Do you know what these diplomats from their countries are entitled to? I think we're losing your audio, kid. You're breaking.
Oh man, I'm breaking. I must have been a bad.
Yeah, you're
you hear
breaking.
me, Katie?
We can't.
I may be in a bad area.
I hear you. Okay. So I'm saying, do you know what
the diplomats have
always entitled to in Africa? Like
they got diplomatic immunity. They can kill you. They can't get prosecuted. You can look this up before you leave. Look up diplomatic immunity, Katie. They can kill you. They can have sex with you. They can sex traffic, and you can't do nothing against them. It's called diplomatic immunity. They can shoot you in the head. Nothing happen to them.
They even don't pay taxes. They are entitled to free cars, free fuel. They don't pay taxes. If they go to supermarkets, they get things for free. They don't even pay public transports. And this is just crazy.
I'm a diplomat, Katie. I'm a diplomat. Wink, wink. I'm a spy. I'm a diplomat. Because these puppets allowed it in the beginning, Katie. Go ahead.
Diplomatic immunity in Kenya is agents from the jurisdiction of the receiving state does not exempt him from the jurisdiction of sending state. The immunity from jurisdiction of the diplomatic agents and of persons enjoying immunity under Article 37 may be waived by sending states. I don't understand that. But
he said if Kenya got a backbone, they can waive some of the damn restrictions you just said about not paying shit. Now, Kenya can do that, but they won't because Kenya was set up as a puppet state. It's saying that Kenya could waive that, Katie. Said, nah, you got to pay taxes. No, you got to do this. But they haven't done it. It's saying you could do it. You could revoke it, but you haven't. That's what it's saying, Katie. It's saying you could revoke the shit. Good.
Somebody on TikTok is saying, "You democracy and human rights are the problems of Africans." Yes, democracy is just a philosophy that was brought to Africa.
It's a scam.
Yeah, it is a scam. Yeah, that to think that we are equal, we are fairly treated while we are not, and we don't exercise any part of democracy in Africa. It is just a scam and a lie, a very big lie to Africans. But anyway, family, I think we shall wrap it up right here. We have extended with almost 20 minutes. And
okay, let me say this. See, too many Katies and Jobies are dangerous to the system. This is dangerous. And don't think they're not looking at you. This is dangerous to the system. It's very dangerous. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, family, for being with us. Effie, asante sana for being with us. Jiba Jaba, asante sana. And you're saying, yep, it's a way to trade without the dollar. They can still suck you dry. Of course. Of course, of course, of course. But anyway, we are coming to the end of our show for today. Asanteni sana to all those who have been with us on TikTok. I saw okay, we had Doki Gadoni was with us and throughout the show. Asante Effie as well, and also for the gifts, Asante Sana, and to everybody who was there tapping the screen for us, and to everybody who is interactive with us right here. Hope to see you later on the Word of the Street. Kwaherini, enjoy the rest part of your day.
Greetings and salutations, Master David and from all the way in Switzerland, and you're tuning into the Black Hot Fire Radio. And you're listening to the African Diary Show.
Great show, Katie. Great show.
Thank you.
See, Katie's dangerous in Africa. These youth know too much now. This is very, the CIA is like, what the fuck is going on in Africa?